In this tutorial, we're going to look at a condition statement, an if and an else statement, that has multiple conditions to test for with multiple possible outcomes. So we're going to go to the Marin Maker account here. We're going to find the starter code if, elif, else, click on it, and when it opens, I'm going to fork it into my account. Now that it's in my account, close my files. Elif is short for else if. So that allows us to add another condition to be checked if the previous one is false. So we can add as many else if, elif condition checks as we'd like, depending on how many outcomes we need. Remember that the else always comes last and is used as a catch-all. So we start with an if. If we have more than one condition to check, elif, 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 and then when we're done, we have an else condition. So let's investigate. We want to add comments to explain the overall job of this program, and then add comments to the code that explains the circumstances that would produce each output. Okay, so I see two variables that are integer user inputs of a number. Those numbers are then tested against each other. They're compared. If num1 is greater than num2, then it will print the string of num1 is bigger. If elif num1 is less than num2, then the string of num2 is bigger. That's just telling us which number is bigger, the first one or the second. And then else, we're going to assume that the numbers, if one isn't bigger than the other, we're going to assume that they are the same. And so we print out else the numbers are the same. So let me turn off this code down here. Yeah, okay. So let's run this and then let's see what happens. Enter a number. I'll do 5. Another number, 3. 5 is bigger of the two numbers. So it checked, and then because the first number I entered, 5, num1, was greater than num2, it printed 5 is bigger, and it didn't run anything else. It just exited. So let's add some comments here. So num1 and num2 are variables that store the integer value of user input. And then down here, compare num1 to num2. If num1 is greater than num2, print screen. I'm just going to print to screen, print message. Okay. And then the elif down here is comparing num1 to num2 again, but this time it's if num1 is less than num2, and it prints a different message to the screen. And then else, we are assuming that numbers, that both numbers are the same, since neither is bigger. Let's run that again and test. So 3 and 5, still 5 is bigger. And let's try 3 and 3, the numbers are the same. What if we did 3 and 3.5? Ooh, we have an error. So because an integer can't have a floating number, we've discovered a flaw, something for you all to play with and see if you could fix. But we're going to move on. So I'm going to comment this first part out. And then we're going to go down to the modify section, and I'm going to uncomment this code. And so let's take a look at it. On modify, we want to add to the program so that if the user inputs music with a capital M, they get a message saying, not bad, but computing is better. For all other subjects, the user should get a message saying, how wrong can you be? Computing is way better than that. Okay, so when we look at the program now, we have a variable subject. So subject variable stores user input. Answer to best subject. So it's asking what's the best subject, saving it as a string, looking at if the subject variable, which is containing our user input, is equal to computing with a capital C, it's printing that's the right answer. Elif, subject is equal to computing with a lowercase c, says you're correct, but computing starts with a capital C. Okay, so we're going to add another Elif. We want the subject to equal music. Then we're going to print not bad, but computing is better. And another else, meaning subject isn't computing, capital C, subject isn't computing, lowercase c, subject isn't music, it's anything else. So I'm just going to say else. I don't have to put a condition there. Else, we're going to print how wrong can you be? Computing is way better than that. Don't forget to comment. So this first one, tests if user input equals capital computing. Prints message to screen. Kind of the same thing with all these else ifs. It's testing, though, what is equal. Prints different message to screen. This is doing the same if equal to music. Prints a different message to the screen. And then this is, we're assuming anything else entered except computing music. Therefore, print a different message to screen. Okay, let's give this a try. What's the best school subject? Let's try music. Not bad, but computing is better. Run it again. Let's do computing. That's the right answer. Let's try computing with a lowercase c. Great, but it's telling us it starts with a capital C. Run it one last time. Let's say history this time. And it says, what? How wrong can we be? Computing is way better than that. So we successfully created our different conditions to test out. I'm going to comment all of that out and then jump down here to create our own program now that asks the user for their name and which subject they're studying. So let's start with that. So we can have a variable name with an input. What is your name? And then another for subject. Let's do sub. What subject? I'll just say, what are you studying? Okay. So I have those two variables. Then the program should output a message telling the student by name which room to go for that class. We'll make up the room numbers, and we should include at least 3 subjects, so 3 cases that we know, and then a message for a catch-all for our else, which is maybe I don't know what room that class is in. Here's an example. If someone put input Ben and computing, then they might get, hi Ben, go to room 401 for computing. Okay, so now we start our if. So if sub equals, let's say history, we'll print, hello, and I can do concatenation here if I want with the plus marks, name, go to room 100 for, and then I can use concatenation or just commas. Here I'll use comma for the subject. Because I'm using a comma, I don't have to leave that extra space, but with the concatenation of the name, it's because I'm using the plus signs, I did leave space at either end. Okay, so that's our first condition. Now we need another condition, Elif sub equals, let's do math. I'm going to copy this code up here because I don't need to recreate work for myself. We'll say 101 for math. We'll do the same thing, Elif sub equals English. And again, print, and let's do 102 for English. And then we need an else, a catch-all. We will print let's say, I don't know which room that class is in. Okay, so let's give this a try. We'll run the code. My name, what am I studying? English. Says, hello, Sarah, go to room 102 for English. Now, I could make this a little bit nicer. So if you remember from our strings, title will ensure that if whatever the person, the user entered, their name will be capitalized. So let's run that again. English ran, and it worked for 102. So let's look at history or math next. Math, and there's my name capped. Go to room 102 for math. Run it again. Sarah. History. Hello, Sarah. Go to room 100 for history. Let's one more time. Let's say I'm studying econ or economics. Don't know which room that class is in. Great. So that worked. Now it would, if I typed this in and I said math lowercase, it wouldn't recognize it. So again, that's another issue that we will come to later on down the road. But for now, if we were using our correct casing, it would work. If you liked this and you want to try more, go to the Marin Maker page, Rappel Home, and go to the complement machine. When you go to the complement machine, it's just asking you to write another program to give yourself a little bit more practice.